On the 25th of September 2025, southern China was struck by one of the most powerful storms in recent memory. Typhoon Ragasa, a system that pushed the limits of nature's force and tested the resilience of millions living along the coast. While Ragasa brought heavy rain and flooding, what truly defined its passage was the unrelenting wind, a destructive power that reshaped landscapes, disrupted daily life, and left behind dramatic images of nature's strength. Ragasa had already gained notoriety as a super typhoon earlier in its track, but by the time it reached Guangdong province, its core winds still roared with exceptional force. At landfall, sustained winds were reported above 170 kilometers per hour, with gusts soaring far higher. In Chuandao, Jiangmen, meteorological stations recorded wind speeds that broke historic records, topping 240 kilometers per hour. Such speeds are enough to peel roofs from buildings, twist steel structures, and send massive waves crashing into coastal defenses. For communities in Guangdong, the sound of Ragasa's approach was unforgettable. A continuous howling roar that lasted for hours. Windows rattled violently, high-rise towers swayed under the pressure, and entire neighborhoods were plunged into darkness as power lines snapped. The wind alone, without the added threat of rain and flooding, was destructive enough to bring modern infrastructure to a standstill. In Hong Kong, the territory's highest warning signal, T10, was raised, a rare measure that underscores the seriousness of Ragasa's winds. Streets were deserted, flights were cancelled, and ferries remained in port as the storm unleashed its fury. At the city's harbor, gusts exceeding 160 kilometers per hour, battered skyscrapers and waterfront promenades. Glass panels shattered, cranes buckled, and debris turned into dangerous projectiles, forcing residents to stay sheltered indoors for nearly 2 days. More than 700 flights were canceled, not because of flooding, but because the wind itself made air travel impossible and unsafe. As Ragasa moved deeper into mainland China, the sheer size of its wind field extended the threat far beyond the coast. In Shenzhen, Zhuhai, and Foshan, trees were torn from their roots, vehicles were overturned, and countless buildings suffered damage. In some coastal districts, the combined push of the wind and sea caused powerful storm surges, toppling seawalls and submerging waterfront roads. Power outages affected hundreds of thousands as transmission towers bent and wires collapsed under the storm's relentless pressure. Authorities had prepared extensively. Nearly 1.9 million people across Guangdong were evacuated ahead of landfall, a decision that saved lives as Ragasa battered the region with wind speeds few had ever experienced. Schools, businesses, and factories remained shut, not just to avoid flooding, but because high winds made commuting, construction, and outdoor work impossible. Even after weakening, Ragasa carried enough energy to spread chaos further inland. Its broad circulation meant that regions far from the coast still endured gale-force winds, causing widespread damage to agriculture, small towns, and transportation networks. Roads were blocked by fallen trees, communication towers were bent or destroyed, and emergency responders faced immense challenges navigating debris-strewn streets. The storm's passage left behind lessons and reminders. For urban planners, Ragasa reinforced the need for wind-resistant designs, stronger building codes, and secure infrastructure capable of withstanding Category 4 or higher storms. For communities, it was a stark reminder of the raw power that atmospheric systems can unleash, even when rainfall or flooding may not seem as dramatic. On the 25th of September 2025, Typhoon Ragasa proved that wind can be as devastating, if not more so, than water. In Guangdong and neighboring regions, it will be remembered not only as one of the strongest storms of the year, but as a defining moment of resilience, preparation, and survival in the face of nature's fury.
海水倒灌啊，站在上面，人行道都这么高，两个车，哎呦，保佑赶紧停啊，不能再逛，再逛就要淹到上来了。
哇！哇塞！
Thank you for watching and staying with us through this report. If you found this coverage informative, please support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your engagement helps us continue delivering important updates on the world's most significant natural events. Until next time, stay safe, stay prepared, and thank you for being a part of our community.